Welcome to Truth in the Shadows, where we step beyond the ordinary and dive into the unknown, a place where questions linger and the answers are out there, waiting to be discovered. Here, we explore the legends, the myths, the creatures that hide in the shadows, from cryptids that defy explanation to mysteries that make us question reality. Join me as we reveal the truth in the shadows. Chupacabra is a cryptid infamous for its attacks on livestock, earning its Spanish name, the goatsucker. This mysterious creature is said to feed on or drink the blood of chickens, goats, and other farm animals and pets. Reports of Chupacabra sightings have spread throughout the Americas, mostly in the southwestern United States, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. There are two common variations of a Chupacabra. One is described as reptilian, often referred to as the true Chupacabra, and the other a canine, sometimes called blue dogs. Over 2,000 sightings have been reported of both types. Witnesses claim that the creature makes an eerie, unusual noise while feeding, further adding to the legend's mystique. Physical descriptions of a chupacabra vary wildly depending on the region. In Puerto Rico and much of Hispanic America, it is often described as a stocky, reptilian creature with an otherworldly, alien appearance, roughly the size of a small bear, with a row of spines running from its neck to the base of its tail. In contrast, sightings in the southwestern United States paint a different picture. Here, the creature is often described as more canine in appearance, with a feral, dog-like form. The chupacabra is most commonly described as a reptilian creature with leather or scaly greenish-grey skin, with sharp spines or quills running down its back, standing around 3 to 4 feet tall. It is said to move in a manner similar to a kangaroo, standing upright and hopping. This description first emerged in Puerto Rico in 1995, with similar reports later surfacing in parts of Chile and Argentina, where witnesses described the creature with strikingly similar features. Another frequently reported version of a chupacabra is that of a wild, hairless dog with a pronounced spinal ridge, large eye sockets, fangs, and claws. This description began to emerge in the early 2000s, with sightings moving northward from the Yucatan Peninsula and northern Mexico, eventually reaching the United States. Over time, this dog-like version became the dominant image of a chupacabra. Unlike typical predators, the chupacabra is said to drain all of its victims' blood, and sometimes even its organs, usually through 3 puncture holes arranged in a downward triangle, though some reports mention only 1 or 2 holes. The first reported sightings of a chupacabra date back to 1995 in Puerto Rico, where its legend began. Since then, the creature has been spotted as far north as Maine, as far south as Chile, and even outside the Americas in places like Russia and the Philippines. However, these reports are largely anecdotal, often dismissed as lacking credible evidence or being unsubstantiated. In some cases, sightings in northern Mexico and the southern United States have been attributed to canines suffering from mange, which causes hair loss and gives them a grotesque, alien-like appearance. The first known chupacabra attacks occurred in March of 1995 in Puerto Rico, when 8 sheep were found dead, completely drained of blood. Investigators discovered 3 strange puncture wounds in the animal's chest, but despite the unusual circumstances, authorities could only attribute the deaths to a known predator, possibly a fox. However, some began to draw parallels between these killings and the mysterious cattle mutilations that had been occurring regularly in the American Southwest. The first eyewitness account of the creature came from Madeline Tolentino, whose description would later inspire the most famous drawing of a chupacabra. In the town of Canobanas, around 30 residents claimed to have seen the creature, swearing that it had swooped down from the sky, leaping over treetops. It wasn't until November 1995, that a more detailed description of the chupacabra emerged. On that fateful autumn night, farmers were horrified to discover dozens of dead animals: turkeys, rabbits, goats, cats, dogs, horses, and cows, with no apparent cause of death, but all exhibited the same strange markings left by the blood-draining creature. In the city of Caguas, a settled homeowner reported the first glimpse of a chupacabra. Described as having large red eyes and hairy arms, the creature allegedly broke into the bedroom through a window, tore apart a child's stuffed teddy bear, and left behind a puddle of slime and a piece of rancid meat on the windowsill before vanishing. By the end of 1995, the chupacabra was blamed for over 1,000 mysterious animal deaths, each victim drained of blood through one or more puncture wounds. Eyewitnesses consistently described the creature as monkey-like, but with no tail. They reported large, oval red eyes that sometimes glowed, greyish skin, a long snake-like tongue, fangs, and long spinal quills, which some believed may also serve as wings. Those who saw it claimed the chupacabra stood between 4 and 5 feet tall, hopped like a kangaroo, and emitted a foul, sulphur-like stench. In some locations, investigators found unidentified three-toed tracks. Zoologists struggled to identify any known animal that matched these strange descriptions. Later sightings across Mexico and the United States described hairless, dog-like creatures that would drain the blood of chickens, goats, cattle, and other livestock, solidifying the chupacabra's place in global folklore. In 2008, police officers in DeWitt County, Texas, captured footage of what they believed might be a chupacabra. The video showed a canine-like creature running along the side of the road, with no fur, a long snout, and pointed ears. While some suspect the creature was a coyote or another canine infected with mange, the eerie footage only added to the mystery surrounding the legendary beast. In 1975, a series of mysterious livestock killings occurred in a small town in Puerto Rico. Initially, these deaths were suspected to be the work of a satanic cult. However, as more killings were reported across the island, many farms began to report similar losses. The common thread in these attacks was the strange manner in which the animals were killed. Each one was found with small, circular incisions, and their bodies were completely drained of blood. The first confirmed chupacabra attack occurred in March 1995, when 8 sheep were discovered dead in Puerto Rico. Each animal showed 3 puncture wounds in the chest and appeared entirely drained of blood. Just months later, in August, an eyewitness named Madeline Tolentino reported seeing a creature in the town of Canobanas, where as many as 150 farm animals and pets were said to have been killed under similar circumstances. Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneur Salvario Perez is credited with coining the term chupacabra soon after his first reports made headlines. In the wake of the incidents in Puerto Rico, animal deaths began to surface in other countries, including Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, and the United States. In 2019, a video from Mundo OVNI claimed to show the aftermath of a supposed chupacabra attack on chickens in the Ceburuquillo sector of Lares, Puerto Rico, reigniting interest in the creature's mysterious and terrifying legacy. In his 2011 book, Tracking the Chupacabra, investigator Benjamin Radford conducted a 5-year examination into the creature's origin. His research led him to conclude that a description given by the original eyewitness in Puerto Rico, Madeline Tolentino, was influenced by the alien creature Sill from 1995 science fiction horror film Species. Tolentino's account of the Chupacabra closely mirrored Sill's appearance. Tolentino herself admitted that after watching the film, she saw a creature that looked like the Chupacabra, and was shocked by how similar the two were. The resemblance to the Chupacabra was really impressive, she said. Redford's investigation revealed that Tolentino may have mistakenly believed the events and creatures from Species were occurring in reality in Puerto Rico at the time. He concluded that, given this, the most important Chupacabra description cannot be trusted, which in his view cast serious doubt on the creature's existence as a real animal. Furthermore, reports of the Chupacabra's blood-sucking habits were never confirmed through necropsy, which would have been the only way to definitely establish whether the animals had been drained of blood. Dr. David Morales, a Puerto Rican veterinarian from the Department of Agriculture, analysed 300 supposed Chupacabra victims and found no evidence of blood loss. Redford categorised the Chupacabra reports into two types: the original reports from Puerto Rico and Latin America, where animals were said to have been attacked and drained of blood, and reports from the United States, where mange-infected animals, primarily dogs and coyotes, were misidentified as Chupacabras due to their strange appearance. In 2010, University of Michigan biologist Barry O'Connor argued that all Chupacabra sightings in the United States could be attributed to coyotes infected with mange. This explains the creature's features: hair loss, thickened skin, and a foul odour. O'Connor theorised that the attacks on livestock, particularly goats, were likely due to the weakened state of the infected animals, which found it easier to prey on domesticated animals rather than hunt healthier prey, like rabbits or deer. He noted that both dogs and coyotes often kill without eating their prey, either because they are inexperienced hunters or because of injury. The prey may survive the attack, only to die later from internal bleeding or circulatory shock. Two puncture wounds often reported in these incidents align with the canine teeth of these animals, a common feature for most land carnivores when capturing prey. The Chupacabra panic began in late 1995 in Puerto Rico when farmers reported the mysterious deaths of various livestock. In these reports, the animals were found with two puncture wounds. The carcasses were seemingly untouched except for these wounds, which were believed to have been used by the creature to drain the animal's blood. These reports quickly spread throughout Puerto Rico and eventually beyond, reaching places like Mexico, Brazil, Chile, and the southern United States. Notably, many of these areas were experiencing extreme dry seasons. Both Puerto Rico in 95 and Mexico in 96 were suffering from severe droughts at the time. Investigations into the killings during this period pointed to a particularly brutal and violent nature of the attacks. These harsh environmental conditions could offer a simple explanation for the livestock killings. Wild predators, deprived of their usual prey by the drought, may have been forced to turn to farm animals for food. This theory also fits with other reports of Chupacabra attacks. Predators, driven by hunger and desperation, targeted livestock for survival. As a result, these attacks became not only more frequent, but also more violent. Benjamin Radford's book, Tracking the Chupacabra, The Vampire Beast in Fact, Fiction and Folklore, provides additional support for this theory. In his research, Radford highlights 10 significant Chupacabra attack reports, 7 of which include carcasses that were examined. These autopsies revealed that the deaths were caused by animal attacks, with DNA from other animals found on the bodies. Further in his book, Radford discusses cases of regular coyote attacks, showing that it is not unusual for an animal to be left uneaten, with only puncture wounds or minimum signs of attack. The credibility of the chupacabra's existence is further undermined by the varying descriptions of the creature. Depending on the sighting, the chupacabra has been described as having thick skin or fur, wings or no wings, a long tail or none at all, with forms ranging from bat-like to dog-like to alien-like. The creature's shift in form suggests that these sightings may not be one of the same being at all. A likely explanation is that individuals who have recently heard of a chupacabra, thanks to media coverage, may have misidentified animals they encounter and rather than seeing a logical explanation, attributed them to the newly popular monster. For example, some scientists believe that what many people describe as a chupacabra is actually a wild or domestic dog suffering from mange, a condition that causes skin thickening and hair loss, giving the animal an unnatural, eerie appearance. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you question the unknown and want to find the truth in the shadows, don't forget to subscribe. The world is full of stories we can't quite explain, where myths blur with reality, and monsters might just be closer than we think. Some truths are hidden in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered. The truth is out there, but it's up to us to find it. Keep questioning, keep searching. See you in the shadows.